smaller ball today. You'll understand why shortly. Okay, why do we have the smaller ball? Because Red Sox fans, we're talking about Garrett Crochet. And we're talking inflammation in the shoulder. Never good when it's a pitcher, never good when it's your ace, never good when you're playing as poorly as they are, and never good when they say he's scheduled to potentially return on May 11th, and the report is that he has not returned yet to throwing from a mound. So let's talk shoulder inflammation.
All right, I don't know the details. When did he go out?
So retroactive to April 26th.
So April 26th is when he shot him? And they said what? Just shoulder inflammation?
Shoulder inflammation.
He's supposed to come back on the 3rd, and he's not even
11th.
11th, and he's not even pitching it. Okay, so everybody's worried about the obvious, right? The rotator cuff. Everybody worries about that.
Feel free to use
sure.
that.
So pitcher, he's a right-hander, left-hander.
Lefty.
Lefty doesn't really matter, but pitchers are known to strain the rotator cuff. What is the rotator cuff? Right. I got
a different prop.
Got a little prop here.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Let's see.
So this is the shoulder joint. The rotator cuff muscle is made up of muscles that originate off of your shoulder blade or your scapula. That spine in the middle is called the spine of the scapula. Below it, you have infraspinatus. Above it, you have supraspinatus. Now, if you flip around and you look at the front of the shoulder, there is a muscle missing here called subscapularis. Those are the big three of the rotator cuff. There's one more called teres minor. Not as significant. So 90% of the time when you have a strain of the cuff, it's of the supra or the infraspinatus, which is the two that come off the back of the shoulder blade. I don't want to get too technical, but the fact that they just has inflammation means that he has a grade 1 strain. Okay, grade 1 being a strain, 3 being a rupture. So he's in good shape. He's just dealing with inflammation. We don't know if he's taken cortisone. Probably hasn't taken cortisone. So he's probably being managed. Inflammation is very common in pitchers. It shouldn't hold him up for very long. I would think he could be back within a week.
Okay,
or
so
less.
He's throwing long distance, more
He's
than
doing
100 feet.
Yeah, so he's doing long toss.
What would keep them from putting him on the mound? What indications would they see in his recovery that says, hey, not ready yet?
Loss of velocity.
Okay.
Loss of control, placement, and pain. Really, I would say those are the big three: velocity, placement, and control, and pain. And pain probably being the third on those three.
All right, give me a scale 1 to 10 as a fan, level of concern that this guy is dealing with this at this point in the season.
3.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, 3, because these guys, it can happen any day. You know, you go out and you push it hard one day, or your form is slightly off, you can irritate the cuff. That's the thing about a rotator cuff injury. It's very common. More common in overhead throwing athletes because of the torque that you place on the shoulder. But I see 60-plus-year-old females and males that these are the guys that tear the rotator cuffs and have to have them repaired. You know, anyone in the 50 to 70 range is, usually where I'll see them in my clinic if they're not an athlete. Athletes, rotator cuffs, you usually see college age. I don't get a lot of high school rotator cuff issues. But they're also, besides the cuff, that could be the bicep. The bicep is also involved. So if he's getting pain in the front of his shoulder down to the here, again, another thing just has to be managed. And how do we manage it? All the stuff that we do in the clinic: shockwave, laser, soft tissue work, loading the tendon once it's ready.
Dog therapy. So relatively good news on Garrett Crochet there. Yeah. So that's the scoop. As you know, APRPT, 2 locations, 1 in Foxborough. That's getting larger. We'll have more on that in the weeks ahead. And the clinic that's also in Westwood on Washington Street. For Dave Fleischman, I'm Tom Leyden. We say thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next week.